Welcome, welcome, welcome to ESL's Go4SC2 number 40 semifinals, sponsored by SteelSeries. I'm your host Kessel, and we are going into Game 3 between MaDFroG from Sweden, who's going to be spawning as a blue Zerg at the right against Adelscott from France, who's going to be spawning as the orange Protoss at the bottom, and this is going to be on Metalopolis. MaDFroG already floating that Overlord over to the base on the top, but he is not going to see Adelscott. Meanwhile, Adelscott is moving out a probe, and he did manage to build a pylon over here. And if you remember, Game 1, MaDFroG was able to 6-pool Adelscott out of a victory and completely catch Adelscott off guard. An extractor going down from MaDFroG, and then Adelscott in Game 2 was able to take out MaDFroG, getting 3 gateways to and pushing out. MaDFroG was a little bit too confident in his defenses and building several hatcheries in a short period of time. Adelscott now getting a gateway, and it looks like MaDFroG is going to continue to drone up, getting a couple more drones right now. Meanwhile, MaDFroG is also sending a scouting drone out, and he's going to see that gateway has already started, and it's probably almost done. Another pylon going down, and Adelscott also moving a scouting probe out to see what's going on over in MaDFrog's base. MaDFrog starting his spawning pool right now, and he is continuing production of drones, and he is keeping his macro up. While no assemblers coming out, and Adelscott deciding to chrono boost out his first zealot. That spawning pool is halfway done. More overlords getting morphed in right now, and it looks like Adelscott is going to move out of MaDFrog's base after not seeing anything of particular interest. MaDFroG putting an extractor right after Adelscott left his base. Adelscott now leaving his probe over here to scout out, or to kind of just sit there and make sure MaDFroG doesn't expand. Meanwhile, Adelscott has started moving out one of his zealots over here to try and guard this area. MaDFroG is going to see what that probe and zealot is doing, and that probe is moving back to see what's going on, and they are going to start attacking MaDFroG. MaDFroG just getting those 6 slings out in time, but not before that zealot managed to take out one of these drones. And now Adelscott trying to micro the zealot and the probe, but they are going to get surrounded by those 6 slings. MaDFroG putting up an expansion now after destroying those zealots, and that other zealot. 2 more zealots are moving across the field, but they are going to get completely surrounded by the slings. But Adelscott microing his zealots away to keep one of them alive. 3 lings left for MaDFroG, and he is morphing more as we speak. That hatchery is starting to come out now. Meanwhile, a cybernetics core coming out for Adelscott, not blocking off though, and Adelscott just managing to put that zealot up before MaDFroG can get his lings in. Meanwhile, those zealots are starting to move over. He's going to see that expansion now, and he is going to start cutting away at that hatchery, and MaDFroG is in serious trouble. He doesn't have the forces right now to deal with this. He is morphing in more lings as we speak, but those zealots are going to cut away at those lings right now. The queen forced to move over here to try and save this hatchery, and Adelscott now moving back, trying to recharge one of the shields for his zealots, or one of the shields for his zealot. And MaDFroG did get several lings out. He is going to be able to protect this area, but Adelscott managed to recharge most of the shields for one of his zealots, but he does lose one zealot, and he's going to lose. Oh man, he's probably going to lose both zealots, and both zealots do go down. 2 gateways getting morphed in right now, and warp gate technology being chrono boosted out. Meanwhile, both assemblies are starting to come out, and MaDFroG sticking with his 1 extractor and trying to macro up over in his natural now. Ling speed also being researched, and it's just going to complete right now. And Adelscott is going to be able to block off his choke, his ramp right now with those zealots, and MaDFroG won't be able to enter into Adelscott's base and see what's going on. Although if he did poke one ling over here, he would be able to see that Adelscott has 3 gateways right now, and it looks like that's exactly what MaDFroG is going to do. And I think he does spot the 2 gateways. He does spot him on the ramp, and he knows that those units are going to start popping out very quickly. A forge going down and another gateway going down, so there are going to be 4 gateways, and a couple sentries get warped in, and 1 stalker. And MaDFroG getting a bangling's nest, which is not really a good response against stalkers and sentries, because those sentries, those force fields will just block off around those stalker and the sentries, and it is going to keep MaDFroG from being able to attack him. I think a roach warren or a lair would have been probably a better idea, but it looks like he did decide on that bangling's nest, and those lings are going to try and walk over or surround Adelscott's units, but it's not. More reinforcements do come in. More Zerglings are starting to warp in, and now you see the force fields completely blocking off several of these lings, keeping a lot of these units alive a lot longer than they should have. And MaDFroG unable to get the surround, and Adelscott does come out on top after that battle. MaDFroG now getting a spine crawler, knowing that it's getting a little bit desperate right now. Another queen coming down to help protect this area. But Adelscott is moving back, waiting for more units to warp in, and he is starting to warp in a Nexus over here, getting an expansion. Meanwhile, weapons level 1 is starting to be researched in the forge, and it looks like banelings are getting morphed in by MaDFroG right now. Another Overlord being popped out, creep tumors being spread. No more spine crawlers being morphed in by MaDFroG. He's a little bit safe right now from the attack, but Adelscott is getting a lot more units, and he does have warp gate tech right now and 4 gateways. Meanwhile, MaDFroG sticking with his Bangling build and not just starting to get that lair right now. And Banglings are not good against the sentry and the stalkers, so we'll see if MaDFroG will be able to use those Banelings at an opportune moment. Adelscott decided to get a lot more zealots over here, not getting any more stalkers, and he did get a photon cannon at his national right now. He is chrono boosting out probes, and he is continuing to build more stalkers and zealots, and now he is going to start moving out. The lings are going to move out at the same time. A lot of them do get taken out. Adelscott splitting his forces in 2. One coming up from the top high ground and the other one coming from the ground. And MaDFroG getting 2 more spine crawlers over here. That can be desperately trying to defend. Those Banelings get in there, take out several of these zealots, but a lot of those lings are going to be taken out. And now MaDFroG in serious trouble trying to get those spine crawlers out ASAP. But Adelscott knowing to keep away, and he gets those 2 force fields over there to block those Banelings, and now that pylon over here is going to warp in more reinforcements, and now Banelings are not very useful against Adelscott anymore because of those force fields. MaDFroG continuing to build lings. If he only just built something else, maybe a Hydrogen instead. And Adelscott trying to push in little by little, getting more stalkers and more units from that proxy pylon over here. And more Banelings getting morphed in. I don't agree with this play at all. Spine crawlers are going to start poking away at those stalkers, and the lings are trying to move out over here. But MaDFroG might going away, trying to take out at least one of the spine crawlers being morphed in. One more being morphed in right now by MaDFroG, and those Banelings are going to start morphing in, but only able to take out one of the stalkers. And now MaDFroG is in serious trouble trying to get a surround over here, but again, those force fields blocking the way. And now Adelscott in a firm position of control. That queen trying to steal that spine crawler, but Adelscott is going to be able to push in and take out most of these spine crawlers. The drones being pushed away. They're going to start attacking the stalker, but Adelscott just whacking away his units away. And those things have no chance against that. And now MaDFroG does GG out and it looks like Game 3 does go to Adelscott. And wow, MaDFroG getting very bailing happy against Stalkers. This is a little bit out of character here. He would usually go something else, but I guess I'm not sure. I guess MaDFroG was a little bit off his game. I would have suggested Hydras or Roaches at least, so that you can at least attack through the range. But instead, spending that gas on banelings was not a good idea. And MaDFroG was banking as it was. He had 600 minerals extra and 500 gas. So I mean, it would have been probably a better idea to get that Hydrogen out ASAP and continuing to build queens out of his lair. But it looks like Adelscott will take Game 3 and he will advance to the finals. And I will be having the second round matchup for the semifinals up as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel at youtube.com/KesselGamer, and I will be posting these videos on GameReplays.org under the StarCraft 2 replays channel or replay section. And I'll see you guys next time. Kessel signing out.